Using charts to display data. In Google Sheets, there are four main types of charts that we use. These are line charts, column charts, bar charts, and pie charts. The first is a line chart. A line chart displays a series of data points connected by a line. Line charts are normally used to track changes over time. An example of a time when you'd use a line chart is if you are graphing the average monthly temperature for a year. In this line chart, you'll see we have the actual high temperature and historical high average temperature for the month of November. So the white line represents the average temperature, and that's why it's more consistent. And then the actual temperature is in green, so that's why it kind of fluctuates and goes up and down. So looking at this line graph, you'll notice that November 1st is on the left-hand side of the graph, and then November 30th is on the right-hand side. So as the month of November goes on, the temperature slowly gets colder. And that is the average temperature normally does. So again, this type of line chart is a great way to show temperature or other things over a period of time. The second type of chart is a column chart. This uses vertical bars to display data. It's used to compare several items in a specific range of values. An example would be graphing the average number of tornadoes per year in the Great Lakes states. So on this graph, you'll notice we have graphed the average number of tornadoes per year in the Great Lakes states. And those are each state that touches a Great Lake. So looking at the graph, you'll see that we have vertical bars. And then just by glancing at it, we can see that Illinois has the most average tornadoes per year. And then New York, which has the smallest bar, has the least amount of tornadoes per year. But this is a quick way to look at this data and to figure out what states have the most and least average number of tornadoes. The third type of chart is a bar chart. This is very similar to the column chart, except for it uses horizontal bars to display data. It's used to compare several categories of data. And an example would be a chart that shows the amount of items sold at a bake sale. So this is from a chart that we've used in a previous assignment. And a time when this is very similar to the column chart, but a time when you might want to use the bar chart is if your titles of your items are longer, because they might not fit underneath it. So this one, I have different types of items like brownies, peanut butter cookies, Rice Krispie treats, chocolate chip cookies. There's just a little bit more room for me to get those titles in, but it's basically showing the longer the bar is, the more items there are. So at a quick glance, I can see that the food item that I have the most of was peanut butter cookies, and there were 132. The item that I had the least amount of was cake pops at 113. The final type of chart is a pie chart. This is a graph that uses a divided circle where each section represents a percentage of the total. This is used when showing percentage of a whole. And an example is a sale percentage by item. So if I click on this chart, this is from our previous assignment as well. And this is from that same bake sale assignment. And this is showing the percentage of sales or money earned. And we can see by looking at this, the biggest slice in the pie chart is the item that sold the most or had the highest amount of sales. So I can see 17.5% is the largest section of this, and that was muffins. I can also look and I see the smallest percentage is 6.4%, and that is Rice Krispie treats. So that means the Rice Krispie treats made the smallest number of sales or money in sales, and again, the muffins were the largest. So those are the four types of charts that we'll be using in Google Sheets.